Well, thank you for being with us.
Glad to be here.
For a minute, I thought this is the hippest audience, and then it sort of occurred to me that there were some plants here. Really fast. I have some questions that were contributed by members of the NYU program. I'm going to use some of them and some others. Let me ask you first, could you describe a little bit what it was like, the Detroit scene, with all those great young players?
I don't know, it's hard to say. There's a book, it talks about Motown, but it certainly didn't know, whoever wrote it didn't know what actually went on. He knew about some of the earlier stuff, and he found out some early things, but he didn't know what went on when we came up. But it was like, we had great musicians in Detroit, you know. See, a lot of great musicians stuck all over the world. That's why, like a piano player, myself, if you think that you're the hippest, you got to be real careful, because you go to one of those cities and there'll be a piano player there that'll eat you up. You know, you have to be real careful about that kind of stuff. Don't think you're the baddest, because you know that's where Art Tatum was in Toledo, Ohio, and a trumpet player who grew up with Art Tatum, he said, "Oh, we didn't think that much of Art Tatum. Art Tatum was just a piano player." But when he started traveling with a band and traveled over the country, he said, Art Tatum was really bad, ain't it? And that's when he began to find out about cats. So in Detroit, there were a lot of good musicians. I was telling the young fella back there that when we came to New York, we came maybe about 20 to 25 strong. Everybody made it. Everybody made it as a musician in New York, because we come from a background of music. There's so many people I couldn't even name the Jones Brothers, Tommy Flanagan, Roland Hanna, all these people, Donald Byrd, Tito Ford, you don't know him.
Kenny Burrell?
I think Kenny Burrell, and then if you read Miles Davis' book, I think he mentions a trumpet player named Claire Rockamore. There was a trumpet player named Claire Rockamore. There was a trumpet player named Cleophas Curtis. There was our alto player named Cokie, who we felt was just as good as Bird almost, you know. We had so many musicians. We had Abe Woodley, the vibe player. We had Will Davis, who I learned a lot from. There were so many musicians, you know, and good musicians too. It would straighten you out too in a minute, you know. I was a kid, I went out to play. When I was playing, I was real shy, but I was playing, and one tenor player said, "Barry, you better learn how to play I Got Rhythm." I said, I was playing I Got Rhythm, wasn't I? He said, no. You think I Got Rhythm is 2 courses of the blues, a bridge, and then a course of the blues. It's not that, Barry. So he straightened me out. See? So we had musicians that straightened us out. So we became very good musicians. The people came to town looking for us. Sonny Clark, Bobby Timmons, all the piano players. They came there, Walter Davis, all of them came to Detroit looking for us. They wanted to know what was going on in Detroit. They heard about this so-and-so, they heard about this person, they heard about that person. They said, "We're all these people." And we had a a jazz society, you know, that was 5,000 strong. You know, back, Kenny Burrell was first president. After Kenny Burrell came Chuck Gunter. And so we had all of this. We'd have young people playing with older people. You know, the young ones learned Roy Brooks, Charles McPherson, Lonnie Hilliard, Harry Whitaker, Donald Walden, all these people, all these young people, they played with us. So we developed quite a music scheme. I think it was the biggest drag about it is that too many of us left at the same time.
Was there a formal training? Did you?
No, there's no such thing. I mean, formal training as far as, you mean having a music teacher? Yes. All of us had it. You know, me and Tommy, we was on the same recital. I remember he played, I forgot what he played. I played the Revolutionary Etude, and he played something else much more complicated. He was a much, much better pianist. He was really very good. And see, that's a lady pianist that, you know, most of you people don't even know about her. But and she just happens to be up in the Bronx, in a nursing home in the Bronx. She had an aneurysm, and she never played out in public again. But she was the best. Her name was Terry Pollard. She played with Terry Gibbs. There are records with her on it, with Yusuf Lateef. If you ever get a chance, you go listen and hear Terry Pollard play. And imagine she's up in the Bronx, and probably nobody knows about that she's up in the Bronx. And she's one of the greatest pianists ever. She was good when she was 17. She was better than the rest of us, because she had perfect pitch. She played in B like you play in C. We was trying to learn how to play in C, and she was playing in A. I said, no. We had to learn how to, we had to struggle to play in A. She's played in A like you play in any key. F sharp, she played in every key. You know.
So you learned primarily from each other and also from recordings?
Yeah, from recordings and each other, that's it.
So your earliest influences, the serious influences on jazz?
Serious influences. Well, you know, the musicians in Detroit that influenced me. And, well, you know, I'm what they call me, the keeper of the bebop flame. See, I'm a bebopper.
You're not?
I am.
You are? Right.
Positively. I'm a Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, Bud Powell, Coleman Hawkins, Perez, they all beboppers for me. Coleman Hawkins was a bebopper, Perez was a bebopper. To me, you know, most people say no, they weren't, but I say they were. I say the golden age of the jazz was then. The golden age probably began when Coleman Hawkins came back from Europe, which goes to show that there must have been something good going on in Europe for Coleman Hawkins to come back here and record Body and Soul and sound that good. And that Body and Soul is the greatest recording ever made by any man. And, you know, we got, you know, Charlie Parker and Dizzy and them, just love them, Bud Powell. And then I go listen to Boo Boo Turner.
When you were coming up, were you aware that there was a Detroit sound?
I wasn't aware of it. You know, I've heard people say that, you know, like the piano players, there is a similarity. You know, there is a similarity between a Tommy sound, Hank Jones sound. Look like it's something, there's something with us. But we come from Will Davis, you know, all these people could play, so we learned something proper, you know, and so we learned to play right. There is a Detroit sound. I try to get away from it, though.
How do you transcend your influences?
Well, I tell you, try to get away from them. You know, you think of the East Coast and you think of the West Coast, and you think of Bud and Monk on the West Coast, on the East Coast. Then you think of some of the cats on the West Coast. I don't know too many. And it's like I want to be more attached to the East, you know, than the West. I want to be more, you know, you listen to Monk. Monk is like, boom. Monk play like that, boom. That's the way he played. I wish, like you, most of you are young, you probably never saw Monk in person. To see Monk in person was the deal. Because Monk would play the theme song, and then he'd get up and dance. And then when Charlie Rouse stopped playing, he'd be right at the piano and bam, right in. Wouldn't skip a beat, just right in.
You played with Parker.
Yeah, I sat in with him. I played with him. Well, you know, I guess you could say played with him. I don't like people to say that because it sounds like I really played with him.
Well,
no,
you sat in.
I sat in with him. I sat in with him, and all of these places were ballrooms, which goes to show you, see, the music came out of the ballrooms. It came out of dance halls. It didn't come out of bars. It came out of dance. It probably came out of bars too, but people danced. to jazz. See, in Detroit, if you played fast, they cut the time. If you played slow, they double the time. You dance like that. That's the way you dance. Most people don't know about cutting the time and stuff, doubling the time. They don't know about that. But the dancers didn't stop, no matter what you played, no matter how fast you played, the dancers did not stop dancing. They danced.
Was that distracting or inspiring?
No, it wasn't distracting. I think it was sort of inspiring, really. I think probably our biggest mistake was taking jazz away from dance. You know that? Because you think about it. Dancing is where people come in. Not the people who know how to play the instruments, but people come in. And then it's certain songs, you know, like you think, see, most people knew songs, like you could play ornithology, but most of the audience, they knew, oh, that's High High the Moon, I know what that is. You know, they'd be just like that. And then Bird and them start playing, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Everybody knew, oh, that's Embraceable You. Shoot. See, the people knew that, not just the musicians. The people knew that stuff.
I've always been amazed that Body and Soul was such a hit because it's so abstract.
But you know what? It's like I can't even tell you. Where I know it's a great recording is that when you listen to it, when it comes on the radio sometime, it's like the sun comes out. When Bird plays sometime on the radio, it's like the sun comes out. All of a sudden, it isn't cold, it isn't damp. You know, the other day, 2 days ago, that was the coldest rain I ever felt in my life. That rain was so cold, my hands were freezing. But, you know, the sun come out when Bird and them played, when these cats played. You know, they play fast, but, you know, the shake dancers shake fast. We played for everything. The shake dance, I used to tell my class about Baby Scruggs. Boy, if you had seen Baby Scruggs, boy, she was fine as that. And you know what she would do? She'd come out on the stage with this long cape on, tossed around, and she'd say, play Cherokee as fast as you could play it. And boy, you start playing Cherokee as fast as you can play it, and she started shaking. You ain't never seen anything like that in your life. One tassel at a time. Right side, left side. And you talking about do, 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 do. And she, do, all this, and the tassels in the back moving. And you say, oh my goodness gracious, what's going on? And you sitting up there playing. She just shaking away, you know. And so we had a connection to everything. You know, we had a connection to the blues. We was connected to. One of the first gigs I had was with Ruth Brown and Willis Gator. What was his name? Smith, Gator Tail, right? No, what was his name? Willis. Yeah.
Willis Gator?
Yeah, Willis Gator. That's right. Used to walk the bar and stuff.
You didn't feel that was beneath you?
No. You know, you had to play that shuffle rhythm and stuff. That's how you made it. And plus, you'd be surprised. You learn from that too. You know, you learn how. You learn about the blues. You learn about a lot of things. You know.
How did it change when you relocated to New York?
Well, I immediately wished I had been older and I had come to New York sooner, you know. And then I wouldn't be here to listen to some of the noise that goes on today, because that music was so good. Music was so good, I can't even tell you the joy we felt. And you know what, there are people, what's funny about it is that I teach all over the world. And all these people are trying to learn how to play jazz all over the world. And I don't know what we're doing, you know. There are a few of us trying to learn to play jazz here. But I mean, all over the world. I tell you what, remember a date. January 25th. Remember that date. Be sure you check out the Village Vanguard on that day, because I'm going to bring some young boys here. I want you to hear them play from Italy. I ain't never heard anybody play like them. I mean, I had some young cats, and I made them play good. Charles McPherson, Lonnie Hilliard, Harry Whitaker, Donald Walden, Ira Jackson, all these people, they played good. But let me tell you, there's some boys young boys in Italy. When I first heard them, they were 12 or 14. And I can't even tell you the experience of hearing these little young cats play like that. It's what I want to hear in this country. I can't hear it in this country. That's pretty weird.
Do you think that there's a chance that the major force of jazz could move to another place in the world?
I do think so. It's happening, you know. It's happening in a way because the teacher in Holland, in The Hague, in the conservatorium, he suddenly moved to Verona, you know. And we talk on the phone, he said, when you going to come? I say, well, it's getting near that time, you know. But see, I'm sort of worried about my class. I don't want people committing suicide and stuff. But I've really been thinking about, see, Verona, I tell you, it's very inviting, I'm telling you. It's very inviting. Believe me when I tell you, the Italians. I tell you, them Italians trying to get me, though, I'm telling you that now. But I'm... I just recognized the voice. She ain't lying either.
Well, I think that's we can't beat that. So I think that's a good note to end this. Okay. And thank you. This is a great honor for everybody.
This man here has always written nicely about the Harris. And he's the one that coined the phrase, Barry Harris and his cast of 1,000. Thank you, Gary, for being here. Thank you. We have to give some of the credit to the critics, and he's been a very good critic all the time. You know.